can police yourselves, or I can do it.
We don't control them. It's a free country.
That is a free country. That is no man's land, and that's where we're heading.
Anybody else want to fuck with my family? Anybody?
There's only one killer in Fort Worth, and that's me.
Let's do it. Tim, how are you, sir? Welcome to Las Vegas.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
I'm so happy to have you here in my city.
Thank you. Yeah, when we flew in last night, because we were filming yesterday, we're in the middle of a big dust storm, 60-mile-an-hour winds. We're chasing bad guys on horses, and we go rush home, take showers, and I think we all still have dust all over us, so we couldn't get it all off. But race home, get on the plane, and we landed here last night, and we're driving in, and my security guy that works for me says, I feel like we just went into outer space, coming from where we just came from. It's just a totally different world.
Oh, to go from 1883 to 2021?
In Vegas.
In Vegas, of all places,
know,
right? Well, you know, Yellowstone's a phenomenal right now, and this is the prequel where the Duttons all began heading to Montana, but you got to make the journey first, right? And while watching the first episode, I just couldn't, most people don't realize that Hollywood glamorizes the early West, but it was a rough existence, even in 1883, wasn't it? So,
absolutely.
And did that feeling come to you while you were making the show?
Sure it did. I mean, look, we're out in the elements doing this. I mean, we're no comparison to the real pioneers and what they went through, but you know, once we're in the scene and once we're shooting scenes and you're fighting the weather and fighting the cold and fighting the heat. I mean, we were shooting, it was 110 degrees one day and we're shooting and you got some heavy clothes on, and then next day you're shooting and it's freezing cold and you have no heavy clothes on, so it's always been a challenge, but it's easy to put yourself into that moment, not only because of the authenticity of the setups and the wagons and the horses and where we're shooting, but because of the actors and what they bring to the table, and not least of all, the writing. The writing is so spectacular. Taylor Sheridan is one of the most brilliant writers I've ever come across. And when you read the stuff, it just jumps off the paper to you. So when you have the chance to get into costume, get on the set, and you get to see this stuff and be in the middle of this stuff, I always like to get there. I mean, we're always starting way before sunrise. I've seen more sunrises in the last 4 months than I have in my entire life. But I always like to get there early and spend a lot of time just walking through the world that we're going to shoot in that day, and it really puts you there.
And it's funny because in this show, you know, Sam Elliott's character and your character always are button heads, you know? And it's just, he seems like the nicest guy though, but he can turn on that mean guy look, can he?
Yeah, he's got a great mean guy look. But we both have we've had stare downs throughout the whole show.
You were tough too. You were giving me the creeps too in the show, you know? I mean, if you guys just seemed like you were seasoned, if you were to survive in 1883, I'd follow one of you guys. So
absolutely, and I think that you notice that it's not out of disrespect that we both have a lot of respect for each other. It's just these two sort of alpha males trying to find.
But you have a family to protect.
You
always said,
which is my priority.
Comes first, right? And I love the father-son moment you have when you were teaching him hunting.
Yeah.
And not only that, you blooded him.
Yeah.
You know, and you tell all that. I thought, God, how many people are going to watch this scene and think of their father and their rite of passage in hunting? Yeah,
that was one of my favorite scenes that we had shot. And I actually told Taylor, says, you know, I have 3 daughters, so I've never had that sort of opportunity with a son to do something like that. So it was pretty special for me on screen to be able to do that. I mean, I love my daughters, don't get me wrong, but to have that sort of moment with an audience, that kid he's something special. I mean, he's got a bright future.
And for you to say, you know, son, we thank the deer, we thank nature, we take a life to give a life.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's just so Taylor Sheridan too, but that's a philosophy in hunting, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's a big philosophy in hunting. And it's just one of those special moments that I think that shows a side of James that you don't always see. My character James in the show, you know, you know he protects his family, you know that he loves his family, but there's a hardness to him, and I think as the series continues, I think you get a taste of that in the Civil War flashback of some of the things that he had gone through. But as the series goes on, you start to discover some of the reasons why James is the way that he is.
Awesome series. Thank you so much for joining me today, and welcome to Las Vegas. We love
you,
having you.
Thank you. Looking forward to being around for a night.